Welcome to the Virtual Power Teams podcast, the #1 podcast for working remotely and building powerful virtual teams. My name is Ivanov, international keynote speaker and author of the book Virtual Power Teams, translated in 6 languages. Tune in every Tuesday for the very latest in virtual leadership, or visit my website peter-ivanov.com. How to set remote team goals. In fact, there is a research about why virtual or remote teams fail. And there are top 4 factors listed. And number 1 is they fail to build trust. This is also a reason for non-virtual teams, but for virtual teams, building trust take kind of more conscious and smart effort. So that's the number 1 reason. Second reason is they cannot overcome communication barriers. And I commented in one of my podcasts, and there will be furthermore tips how to establish a structured communication, which works beyond borders and cultures and time zones and so on. And 3 and 4 are related to goal setting. The number 3 reason for virtual and global teams to fail is the individual goals are not aligned with the team goal. So there is a team goal, but the individual have some hidden agendas, some goals which are not aligned to the team goal, and that leads to failure. And number 4, again related to goal setting, hence the title of this podcast, is there is no clear vision and team goal. So if the goal is not clear, in a virtual context, the confusion grows exponentially. So I compare the importance of a goal as the nucleus in the atom. In a virtual team, it's like in the atom, you have a nucleus and then various particles flying around. And in the virtual team, the aim is to retain the gravity despite the distance. The gravity between the individual team members, who are, the team members, and these are the particles in the model, towards the nucleus, which is not the manager or the project manager. This is the goal and the purpose of the team. Hence, the importance of the goal is so critical. And it is important not that the smartest goal is set by the manager. Regardless how smart are you as a manager, you would never know the reality of your team members. Particularly now, like in Corona scenario, everybody works from home. You would hardly know it. And the more countries involved, the more environments, the more complex it gets. So the crux here is to set the goal bottom up as a team. And hence you need a special way to moderate. And I will give you 4 tips in order to set the goal in such an engaging, interactive way online in virtual or remote teams. So first of all is discover the 3 hottest topics in the team. And again, regarding how smart are you, regarding how engaging you are, you don't know as a manager. So there is a format. I streamlined this format and I describe it in detail in my new book, Power Teams Beyond Borders, but I will give you the flash of it. So we do it in 3 exercises. First one is like a silhouette. And here we draw a silhouette on the whiteboard online. And it has also wings. And questions like, what turns in my head if I think of my team now? What lies on my heart? What can give me wings? And that's sort of like 10, 12 questions. People in one breakout room will get there and contribute individually with their thoughts and feelings. The second group, we break it in 3 groups, by the way. The second group works on issues and opportunities for the team. So they would debate. The first one is on purpose, individual input. The second one requires some debate, but if the team members disagree and somebody thinks this is an issue, the other not, or somebody thinks an issue and this should be a solution, no debate, list all the options and all the input. And the third one comes with a symbol of success of the team, which is a bit addressing the right part of the brain, a bit more creative. People come up with a picture which symbolizes the success of a team. And then instead of you deciding, or people present their outcomes, again, online, coming back to the forum, and then people vote. And nowadays you could vote within seconds in the online tools like Zoom. You could just stamp it and people do it in parallel. Goes much faster than if you do it live and they have to queue to the flip chart or to the wall. So in this case, the 3 topics that get the biggest number of votes, these are the 3 hottest topics that have the strongest resonance with the team, that if you resolve if there are problems or strengthen if there are opportunities, you will work better as a team. So essentially, this is your team agenda. And then based on this input, these three hottest topics, the second step is we convert them into the SMART goals. SMART goals, many of you know, specific, measurable, agreed, have different connotations like resource and reachable, and then time bound. And here again, people work in three groups for each of the hot topics in parallel. And there is a process. Sometimes if we have a problem to solve, we easily go into the solution mode and try to fix it now. Here we make a step back and we decide what is our goal, and we set the goal and the bar high. It is critical before you do that, and we do it as part of this exercise, to answer the question why you do what you do. So the big why question, we ask it several times in context of this particular hot topic that people resolve. So why do we do this? And if the answer is this, then but why we want to achieve this? And if you ask it like 5 times, which is a Japanese-based practice, you reach the real deep why, which once you establish it, if you face problems, you will have much more energy, to go forward. So the big why, then we address the question, big who. Here we look at the stakeholders. Sometimes the goal is impacting many people, as senior managers as well as people. Regardless, I work with many NGOs. You have impact on people, you may have sponsors, you may have partners and so on. So decide for this particular goal, who are the key stakeholders, who are the big who? And what do they say if you're wildly successful? So imagine the success from their perspective and their eyes. And then you go into the what. Then you define the SMART goal. And again, there are a number of questions which will lead you as a team to define the SMART goal. And the third step, once you have from the 3 hot topics, you have the 3 SMART goals, the third step is to build the 3 strategic roadmaps or the high-level plans to get there, to achieve these goals. And here, again, people would do it with whiteboards online. They would put the present date, the date that they envisage to achieve the SMART goal, and they'll see what are the activities, what are the sub-goals, what are the milestones you need to reach in order to get there. And it worked miraculously well online, and people come up with a plan. And once the 3 roadmaps are there, instead of delegating, because you know best who can do what, let people choose their milestone, their sub-goals. Micromanagement is not an option in virtual team. You cannot control them. The only way is to set the goal as a team and then let people choose their sub-goals that are aligned, in this case, by nature, by process, to the team goal that you set. So by letting them pick, by not delegating, immediately you raise the commitment of the people by choosing and owning this particular sub-goal. And you have, in one go, you have the team goal and you have the individual goals which are aligned to the team goal. The 4th tip is related to technology. So some managers are still shy. They think, okay, Zoom or whatever, MS Teams, WebEx is good for a team update. But if we need to really make a decision and make a strategic call, we need to get together and see us in the eyes and hug each other. Really, there are some benefits of live meeting, but you can do many things online. If you're only there, and if you have a good structure, good process, good facilitation kind of guidelines. And don't be shy. Tools like Zoom, for example, the breakout rooms, when you set people to work in a smaller group, works very well automatically, or you could manually assign. You don't have problems at all. And I know MS Teams plan in their next release to have breakout rooms as well. The whiteboards are very powerful. People can write in parallel, they can vote in parallel, you could move around, the milestone and sub-goals and so on. So my appeal to you is just be brave. Think about the process. You need to ensure that you have space for individual contribution. The introverted team members will have a space to think about and put their contribution. You have to provide space for group work. Don't do everyone together. It's good, it's a good feeling, but if you have a team of 10 people, and by the way, do you know what's the optimal size of the team? They call it 2 pizza team. So if you order pizza, if you work late, 2 big pizza would be sufficient, which is 7 plus minus 2. So between 5 and 9 team members. And if you have this 2 pizza team, it's not optimal to work always with this up to 10 people. Make sure you have a breakout rooms. You make progress much faster. People work in parallel. Some of the more shy people will speak up more if they're in a smaller environment. They will be called out to pick more. In fact, when you put them in a breakout rooms, one of the tips that I always give is have a 3 roles assigned once they start the breakout room. First is the role of the presenter, who will present when they come back. Second is the role of the note taker. Somebody take digital notes of all outcomes. So when they present back, he could give a digital visual document for people to see. Could be a whiteboard, could be a MS Word file. The point is that the output is captured, is not lost, and it will be presented. And you need a visual. Just presenting and telling things is not the same as in parallel people see the input and they also hear it. So presenter, note taker, and timekeeper. Somebody who keeps the time because you give them some time frame for the breakout room session. And he would call people. If somebody hasn't spoken out, he would call him on to speak. So yes, my tip is go for it. Use the tools. They are getting smarter and smarter. Design it in a way that you can have individual contribution, group contribution, and then integrate all together as a team. And you would be surprised. You would be surprised by setting the team goal bottom up, and then what level of commitment you can get. For sure, you need a structured communication to maintain the momentum. Just setting the goal right is not sufficient, but I'll give you further tips on building this structured communication, and many of them are available in my book, Power Teams Beyond Borders. Now, I'd just like to make one parallel. We had the atom as a microcosmos. I'd like to look into the universe, the macrocosmos, so to say. Do you know that in the universe, only 10% is material? 10% are planets and stars. 20% is like nothing, like black holes or phenomena that the scientists still cannot explain. And 70%, the major part, is invisible energy, like the gravity that holds the virtual team together. In a virtual team is the gravity that holds the universe together in this case. In a virtual team, it's quite similar. 10% are the team members and the infrastructure. 20% are undeveloped yet potentials. And 70%, the major part, are the relationships, the trusts, the goals, the gravity that hold the virtual team together. So the art to lead virtual teams is to focus on the 70%. And I assure you will be amazed by the wonderful fruits to come. Let me conclude with one sentence that has guided me through the years. And it goes like this. If you dream alone, this is just a dream. If we people dream together, this is the beginning of a new reality. Thanks for listening. I hope these tips will help you to set the powerful goals, the nucleus for your team, and build your virtual power team. So, big virtual power hug from me, Peter Ivanov.